Sydney sits in the passenger seat of her mother's car as they turn onto their street. "There goes your best friend's house, Sid," her mother jokes as they ride past the house that sits on the end of the street. Sydney's mother knows that she thinks there's something weird about the lady who lives in that house. She just rolls her eyes and ignores her mother. When they get home, Sydney helps her mother put the groceries away before walking back outside. Her friend Rami is waiting for her on her porch. "I thought you'd be home 20 minutes ago," Rami complains. Sydney shrugs. "My mother stayed and talked to my grandma for an extra hour, and then we stopped and picked up some groceries. Don't blame me." The two walk out past her gate and sit on the curb. "Your mother can be a real pain, you know that." Sydney rolls her eyes. "Tell me about it." As the two friends come to a mutual agreement that Sydney's mother is a real piece of work, the ice cream truck rolls past their street. "I have not seen an ice cream truck in forever." "Let's go see what they got," Rami says, jumping up. Sydney gets up from the curb. "You buying me something?" "I have food in the house." Rami shrugs. "No, but I mean, what are friends for if you can't walk with me to go get ice cream, right?" As the two make their way towards the parked ice cream truck and get closer to the end of the street, Sydney takes a look over at the old lady's house and notices someone peeking out the window before quickly closing the curtains. "Did you see that?" Sydney asks Rami, tapping her shoulder. "See what?" Sydney keeps her eyes on the windows of the house as they continue down the street. "Don't you remember that little boy that went missing around here not too long ago?" Rami nods her head. "Yeah." I try not to think about it. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. Why do you think nobody ever found a lead on him? I don't know. The person got away. They reached the ice cream truck. Or maybe he never left. Rami takes $1 from her pocket. "Can I get one Rock'em Sock'em popsicle?" The driver hands her the popsicle and they start to head back to Sydney's. "So what do you think happened?" Rami asks as she unwraps her popsicle. "You think that old lady took that little boy?" Sydney tries her best to act normal and not look over at the house. "I don't know. I was just wondering. Maybe though." Later in the day, Sydney and her friends are playing kickball on their street. It's Sydney's turn to kick. She gets in position and the ball is rolled towards her. She gives a hard kick and the ball goes flying. Sydney takes off running. She hits first base and keeps on pushing. As she closes in on second base, the ball is being thrown her way. Deciding not to be greedy, she rests on second base, though she had the right mind to see if she could take it all the way. Next up is Mitchell. Breathing heavily and with her hands on her knees, Sydney watches as the ball is rolled his way. He kicks the ball perfectly, sending it soaring in the air and down the street. It takes a few unlucky bounces and rolls right into the yard of the old lady's house at the end of the street. In fact, it keeps rolling right up to the front door. The group of kids collectively stare at the ball in silence. "I got it," Sydney shouts, knowing deep down inside that she was the most courageous and also the most adventurous of her group of friends. She jogs over to the old lady's yard, stepping over her grass to reach the wallway. She finally reaches the ball and bends over to pick it up. The door flies open. The old lady stands there, her eyes wide and intense. The look sends shivers down Sydney's body. For a split second, Sydney feels like the lady reaches out to grab her, and she quickly grabs the ball and runs from the lawn. The old lady watches intensely as Sydney rushes back over to her friends. She finally reaches them. Out of breath, she looks back at the old, demented-looking lady who continues to stare at Sydney in a sinister way. She doesn't scream, she doesn't yell, she just looks before slamming her door shut. "You okay?" Raimi asks. Sydney nods. "Yeah, I'm fine. Just freaked me out a little." Sydney tosses and turns in her bed that night. She can't get the old lady's dawning eyes out of her head. There's a loud knock at her front door. It's the middle of the night. Sydney moans. Who could that be? As she gets up and walks down the stairs to peek through the peephole of the door, there is more loud, obnoxious banging. She finally reaches the door, and what she sees terrifies her immensely as she is face to face with the old lady from down the street. She feels like the lady is staring through her soul, even though the door separates them. She wonders if she can tell that she came downstairs to check the door. What is she doing here? Sydney says to herself as she leans up against the door, her heart pounding rapidly. Sydney scurries back upstairs and gets into her bed, curling into a ball. The next morning, when Sydney wakes up, she wonders if what she saw last night was real, or was it all a dream? Did that old lady really come to her house last night? She sits in bed until it's nearly noon when another knock comes at her door. Hesitant to check at this time, her mother has to order her to go answer the door. She throws her slippers on and walks down the steps. She looks through the peephole. It's Raimi. She opens the door. What's up, Raimi? Raimi just shakes her head and points. Sydney looks down the street at the squad of cop cars that are surrounding the old lady's house. She watches as she's being brought out in handcuffs. Maybe you were right, Sid. Maybe she did kidnap that boy. Sydney doesn't respond. Too busy thinking of what would have happened if she had opened her door last night.